Apparently you hadn't heard of me for a while. Right, well, we've got a bit of a surprise for you in store. I've gathered together a couple of folk, and we've called ourselves the Doric Team. We've got one thing in common. We've all got a great passion for our Doric language and culture. So they've come on board, and I'm going to get them to introduce themselves just now in a wee minty. And, you know, it's just to say, this is who we are in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, the day. This is us today. We are bringing forward a contemporary approach to our Doric culture and language and who we are. You know, traditionally we've been fishers and we've been farmers, and more latterly isle workers and everything in between. You know, we're writers, we're poets, we're singers, and, you know, we're just a bit of everything. So, without further ado, I'm going to get the Doric team to introduce themselves.
I'm Liza Cantlay. I was born and brought up in the northeast, where most of you come from, but I've lived in England for most of my life now. Doric pretty much is a connection with the past, and it kind of takes me back to the land and the sea and the folk that, you know, I ken for now is just a wee loon. That's it.
That's it, short and sweet. Les from York, all the way down from England. Right, my goodness, how honoured we are and how widespread Doric is. Right, okay, we're going to go on to Craig, Kilted Chef.
Hi, my name's Craig Wilson. I'm the Kilted Chef. And Doric is a distinctive language and part of the heritage here in the northeast of Scotland. It's a dialect that I grew up with. As a country loon from Inch, I heard my grandparents and parents speaking the Doric, and naturally it's passed down to me. There's something quite sentimental and special about the language, and it is so important that we teach the next generation the Doric so it doesn't die out. Now, true to the area's taste and language, when someone says there's nothing better than new tatties that been howkit out of the ground and that affa fine. That's the Doric at its finest.
Absolutely brilliant. Okay, we're going to the Cabrach now. Mike Stuart for the Cabrach Radio. On you go, Mike.
I'm Mike Stuart, you know, the founding Mannie behind Cabrach Radio on the Facebook page. It just started off as a laugh, and it kind of grew arms and legs. So I think Doric should be promoted as much as possible, as it's a beautiful dialect, close to the hearts of Mannie folk. The words and the stories and the culture, all associated with Doric, I think brings Abbey together with a sense of pride and passion and a sense of belonging to their own wee part of the northeast. And yeah, and being brought up in farms, and your like the Kilted Chef said, your parents and grandfathers and grandmothers speaking it, it just gets passed down, and it's good to keep it going.
Spot on, Cabrach Radio. I think we've just got the Bundy, the Broch music man, just come on here, and we'll just put him right in the spot. Bundy, are you there?
Doric is in our DNA, vocalising the soul and entwining it into our lands from mountain to sea. It's a language that gives you a wee bit more than descriptive words and allows you to paint a rich tapestry using fewer strokes. Pulls together entire holistic concepts through its onomatopoeic and figurative language. Sometimes a cuddle or a hug just when I cut it, but a bosey will always do the trick.
He's the bosey man, Bundy for the Broch. He's the bosey man. He's going to sing a wee bit in a minty. Right. The technical Mannie, if I pushes the buttons and makes things work, Mr. Gordon MacKay.
Oh, well, I haven't got too much to say. I just sit in the background here and try and make Jill's dreams come real. I've been doing that for the last couple of years with Jill. So although I've known her an awful lot longer than that, and together we've tried to create you know, something that people are going to enjoy. So the little quote that I've been working with is just Doric, use it or lose it. That's it, nice and short, nice and sweet. But, you know, I think we're doing something pretty worthwhile here. And the feedback that we seem to be getting from so many people is that it seems to be something that's kind of pulling people together. I think today is a really good example of that. So,
perfect. You know, Doric does bring people together because you've all got one thing in common, two things, apart from your love and passion for the Doric language and culture. I didn't know any of you about 7 months ago. And now I know you all. So that's something to say about our Doric culture. It brings folk together. Okie dokie. Dotty about Doric. Come on, Debbie Leslie.
Okay, like I said, my name's Debbie Leslie. I'm a writer and speaker in Doric and English sometimes. I'm also the creator of Dotty about Doric greetings cards. My quote went a wee bit like this. Our rich, expressive, colourful Doric dialect is an important part of my identity. And at its heart, it ties me to the culture and folk of West North East Nuke, past and present. And as a writer, I use our language to help breathe life into characters and show where they come from, bringing a realism to tales of ordinary folk in ilky day situations. That's it.
If Debbie, if there was a prize to be had for the best background, you've got it.
Well, you can't beat Benny, can you?
I was thinking it was Benny.
I'm just thinking what I've been up and doing twice a day already.
There you go. She's keen. She's keen. Okie dokie. Right. We've now got the most clever Doric illustrator in this planet, haven't we? Karen Barrett Ayres. Tell us what you've been up to very briefly, Karen, and your love and passion of the Doric.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen Barrett Ayres and I'm a graphic designer, and my most recent Doric campaign was an April Fool's joke for bilingual road signs for North East Scotland, which was very successful, and I've actually been contacted by Aberdeenshire Council to make it a reality. So I'm very pleased to say that is actually going to happen. So my Doric quote is, Doric is such an expressive dialect that gives Northeast its unique personality. Its sounds add flavour, richness and depth to the Northeast culture. Short but sweet.
Absolutely lovely. Okie dokie. Now we've got two champions of the Doric. First of all, we'll have Peter Chapman.
Hi, hello everybody. Hi, my name's Peter Chapman. I've been a politician for the last 5 years, but basically I'm a Northeast farmer, and Doric's very important to me. It's been my language all my life. And my quote was something along the line of, every group of folk right around the world value and celebrate their language, and Doric's no different. They will all say that it's one of the things that makes them unique. It's about who we are as a people in the northeast of Scotland. It defines us, and it's a vital part of our culture, our heritage, and even our very personality. And thank goodness it's still a living language, which is exceedingly, tremendously descriptive.
We'll chop on just Mark Findlater. When you go, Mark.
I know, I'll crack on. No, hey, there's some well-kent faces on here for sure. And Mike for Cabrach Radio, back in the bus. I've wanted to say that for ages. Now, Karen, see with your signs, the chief executive's got your thing on and social media and all the rest, but we would never agree on the spelling. Even here we'd be arguing amongst ourselves for the spelling. So maybe we can replace the Gaelic sign in the Buchan House with some good Doric for sure, but something like that, I'm sure. So we might get that Aberdein. But my bet really is that Doric is a living language to me, and it's constantly changing, and there's new words coming out in existence. For example, hanitizer. The bairns in the school are using hanitizer now, which is really good. And my favourite word is statutory, because it's so descriptive and exactly what it is. It's a shed that you can go out and you sit in. Okay? So it's I've been a Doric speaker all my life, and I love speaking to folk. I love speaking full stop, but I like to listen as well. Now, I had great memories of listening to all farmers at Cornhill Mart, and we had our stories in Portsoy Herba, Racanton, all stories, again, listening to the fishermen as they're biling up some crabs or something. And the stories and poems and language are our heritage, and it marks us who we are today. And with your help, I think we'll continue to do that into the future. So hug on, folks. You're doing a cracking job.
Okie dokie. Now we've gone right round the world here. Just a loon for Aberdeen, but actually he's not in Aberdeen at the moment, but we hope he'll be able to come back soon. And that's Mr. David Wilkie.
Like I do, hope I'll be staying. I'm David Wilkie, I'm a poet and an author for Aberdeen. And a few memories of growing up at school as I used to speak English. And even during basic training, doing the Brecon Beacons, one of our recruits got his lost grub one of the mountains. And I got so fed up with him, his nickname was Mouse, he was from Yorkshire. I says, Moose, geez a mat, you got us lost, man. And he went dead quiet. And the corporal said, Wilkie, speak English. He came from Glasgow. What does a Doric mean to me? It's a tangible link to my roots and my heritage. And for many years, I was ashamed to speak it. But now, I can't get enough. I write it. I pick my poetry about it. I make videos about it. It's who I am. It's the best language. And give it, it's an international recognised language now. After I'm still in Aberdeen, I must say the most boring background here. I'll say no more.
Okie dokie. Right, we've got the Stonehaven Mannie, Mr. Douglas Samways.
Well, fit like as you say, I'm a stony loon. I was really interested in that bit about the road signs, because I've thought about that down here. I mean, we have a street called the Poorhouse Brae. It's nae called that in a road sign. And there's another one, the Beefy Castle Brae. Cried that way because there was a Mannie, if I had a big house at the top, was a local butcher. And it's up there that the Mannie started the BBC. He was born there. And I think BBC has a lot to answer for, but here's my bitty. First of all, Scots is nae a dialect of English. It's a language in its own right. And if we didn't hear language, we didn't hear culture. And as we're awful close to losing both, what I want to do is everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen.
That is absolutely lovely, Douglas. And that's why we're all here on this platform today. That is what this is all about. Right, okay, I think it's my turn next. Oh, I hate speaking, would you believe it? Right, anyway. Right, as you can, I am a born and bred Fairham Quine. Right, the farming community that I was born and brought up all spoke the Doric Buchan. The words we use communicated our way of life. For me, that way of life is sadly gone, but I now have to work hard to remember the words we once spoke, to keep the memory of those and my forefathers' contribution to society alive. I was fortunate to have been part of a basic culture that survived mostly by living off the land and the sea. Schuchters we may have been, but we survived by basic instincts that kept us alive. And that is the basis of any Indigenous people and language. So there's my wee bit, but thought-provoking, but righty-ho. Now we're going on to RGU, the academia. Right. We have got Ellie McDonald from RGU. Ellie?
Hello, I'm Ellie. I'm an Alford Quine and I'm a journalism student from RGU. My wee quote is, as someone who's grown up in Aberdeenshire, I've always been aware of the importance of having our own language. Many members of the older generation speak only Doric, and it's sad that so many people my age speak very little or no Doric. It's so important that we all work together to preserve our local tongue and teach the younger generation about our region's past.
That's lovely, Ellie, coming from a young quine like yourself. It's lovely to see youngsters coming onto the platform of Doric and being able to advocate. Excellent. Right, from Ellie to Ewan Blacklaw, RGU.
Hello, I'm Ewan. I'm a loon from Inverurie originally, but I'm staying in the Toon now. So kind of turned from Chukta to Toons a wee bit maybe over the years. And I'm also a student at RGU doing journalism as a master's. And my wee quote to sum up what Doric means to me is, when Athens moving so quickly around us and we are connected to others across the globe, it's important to remember our culture and heritage. Doric has such a unique history and story, and we should keep it alive just as past generations have done for us. And that's just my wee quote there.
Thank you, Ewan. Right, we'll just swiftly move on to our things Doric. Mr. Dennis Shepherd.
Hello everybody, I'm Dennis. I'm in Aberdein, but I was originally from a firm called Drummy, and I guitar from school. I do everything Doric, singing, recitation, diddling, mouthy, and I also write songs, poems and music. And my quote is similar to some of the others we've already heard. I think Doric and the Northeast way of life go hand in hand. It is difficult to convey how our forefathers lived without using the Doric. And likewise, we want future generations to understand the past ways of life. That's it.
Perfect. Right, from Mr. Shepherd, we'll go on to Bob Knight, folk singer. On you go.
Yeah, well, as a songwriter, I find that Doric is a great thing because it gives me an extra string to my bow. I can still write in English, but I think Doric is much more robust. It's got more oomph to it. Well, that's why I write my songs in Doric. And it gives them a very distinctive flavour, especially when I'm singing at folk clubs and folk festivals in England. I love it doing it. So we've got to love it up here. Thanks, that's my lot.
B. Jefferson. Let's introduce yourself, B, and your quote.
I'm B. I'm over in Forres in Murray. As you can tell, I'm not a Doric speaker, but I work for Foundation Scotland, which is a funding organisation. And my patch covers Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire. And that has brought me into contact really for the first time with the wonderful Doric language and culture. I'm also a very passionate walker and love exploring landscapes. So that comes into my quote about what Doric means to me. The lockdown has made us appreciate what's on our doorstep. Walks along cliff tops, the kindness of neighbours, and the unique cadence of socially distanced greetings on the way to the shops. The language and voices of the North East are as much a part of its special character as the landscape, and one to be valued and maintained.
All the way from Murrayshire, where I'll tell you, we're really going around the planet today. Right, okay, swiftly on to Mr. David Duckett.
Hi, Jill. Hi, folks. Can I start, Jill, by congratulating you on this forum, the work you do to bring all this together. It's absolutely fantastic. So well done. As Jill says, I'm David Duckett. I'm the MP for Banff and Buchan. Growing up in the area and still biding in Turra. Obviously, I'm Wheel Quant with the Doric. But it's probably fair to say it's toned down a wee bit since I've had to work abroad in the Isle, and certainly more recently since I became an MP. I had a hard enough time with my colleagues in Westminster kenning how to say Duckett, never mind on the other words that I might come out with. So it feels like I'm being a bit pan-loaf sometimes, but I'm told by colleagues that I've still got a fairly broad accent. And when I'm home, especially when I'm with my mum and dad and my brothers, it's just natural. It just goes straight back into the Doric. So it'll never leave me. And if I could just finish by saying my favourite word in the Doric is spirket. Especially in the phrase, or to give you an example of the phrase, my trousers have been spirket with dubs. Because I kind of think of another word. I'm sure folk can maybe think of another, but for me, I kind of think of a more descriptive word. It says what it means, and I kind of think of an equivalent word in English. So I just wanted to leave you with that. My favourite word is spirket.
Well, David, I'm sure we are getting what spirket means, and I actually have been spirket with a lot of dubs in my life, being born and brought up in a firm, I can assure you. Well done, spirket. Right, okie dokie. Now, I just met this young gentleman yesterday on the beach at Cruden Bay. The Doric drone man. Would you like to say a wee something, James Duncan?
Sure thing. My name's James Duncan. Okay, I'm from Cruden Bay. Just met Jill yesterday. She contacted me. So recently I've just bought a drone and I've been putting up some photography and videos of the local area around Cruden Bay. And then Jill obviously was attracted to that, and we've managed to collaborate to assist with some of her videos that she's going to be publishing for Doric TV, and I'm quite happy to help. I've been living in Cruden Bay pretty much my whole life, so Doric is part of my heritage also. Specifically notice it with my mum when she starts talking with my grandma. They just click and start speaking the Doric. But as this whole thing's about, it seems like it's slowly dying away, and it's definitely a good thing to try and keep it alive.
Well, you know, it's lovely to hear from these younger folk. You know, and this is how this works. I only met James yesterday. That is true. Now, another young lady who I only met the other day, this is how it all works as well. We were having a wee walk through Gicht Castle. I was walking around the peripheral of Gicht Castle near Metlick, and I come across this lovely lady, and we just thought on our handle then and there, and that's Doric Mystic Myths and Legends. Dawn, how do you think we picked on that for you?
Hiya, how are you? I think it's a great name. It's brilliant, thank you. I'm Dawn. I've been brought up in the northeast of Scotland my whole life. I am beside Fraserburgh, just south of Fraserburgh near Mintlaw, in a wee village called New Leeds. Whenever I speak with friends from the area, we always go back to our Doric tongue, and our friends out with the area, they never understand anything that we're saying. So there's always a bit of a joke about being a chuchter or from the country, but we're always really proud of the fact that we have our own little wee language. Going forward, I think it's a brilliant idea to try and keep everything alive, the stories, the language, the lifestyle that we were introduced to, and things from like the past. I think it's really important to keep them alive as well. There's so much mystery surrounding our area, the superstitions, everything that people, all our grandparents and our grandparents before them, they all lived their lives by that, just by all of that. And I think it's really important for the younger generation to remember that. And yeah, so I'm really honoured to be part of this group. Thanks.
Well, we have to congratulate you, Dawn, because we just threw you right into the deep end because you weren't even asked to give a quote. And there you go, you just off the top of your head. Off the top of your head. We've kept the best to last, Paul.
I don't care about that.
The TikTok man, on you go.
Well, I'm Doric Dad on TikTok, and I noticed that Northeast was missing for the Scottish community on there, and now I've got 10,000 followers logging in for my words of the day and just the speaking again. So that's near the average attendance I've totally that. But, anyway, so it shows that our folk here that love the Doric like we do. I suppose it's still thought it was unusual by a lot of the followers, but I've made some amazing new friends on TikTok, and we're doing our bit to make it more widely acceptable.
Perfect. Right. I don't know if we can get a drum roll, but I think a drum roll would be just perfect for just now. Do a tap here. Anyway, right. This here is the Doric TV Spurtle, right? Now, it's only awarded to people who have made an extra special contribution to the Doric language and culture. Well, by the way, you're all going to get one of these. I don't know how we're going to get them posted out, but well, maybe I'll be able to meet up personally on Doric TV. Well, why not? We've got Gaelic TV, Alba TV, so why can't we not have Doric TV to represent who we are in Aberdeenshire today? Okay. Right, so now the students from RGU have been very busy because they've been really engaging and getting into this Doric thing. So they've actually been looking intently at all your quotes, and they've picked out three of the best quotes that they think. This is from Ellie and from Ewan, and I'll just announce these. The best three quotes that Ellie and Ewan have picked out from RGU is from Mark Findlater, Alan, Reid, Bundy for the Broch, and B. Jefferson. There we go. Right. Now, the best vocal, definitely, I think should go to Peter Chapman. The best vocal one, I think, should go to Peter Chapman. The most poetic one, definitely we think should be Debbie Leslie. Okie dokie. Ad-lib, definitely John Noble, just on the spot. You just came right out with it, John. So definitely, there you go. The longest quote has to go from the person, the second longest travelled person today, is Mr. Les Cantlay from York. So for the longest quote, you get the Doric TV Spirtle. Also, Douglas Samways from Stonehaven, the Stony Mannie, right? The shortest quote has to go to Gordon MacKay. Short and sweet, Gordon, definitely. Okie dokie. Now, I also have to say that you also sent in a lovely image, a photograph of yourself, and I think that was lovely. So we were looking through them all, and I picked this one. I don't know if people can see it, right? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Well, it's of Peter Chapman and Mark Findlater in the byre with a couple of coos. Now that, to me,
that'll be good for scaring away the mice, Jill. That's a grand name for scaring the mice away. You use that for that purpose. It'll work fine.
Okay.
My mother-in-law knitted that jumper for me. I must be proud of it, but kind of stretched a bit,
Right. And from the most travelled person here today, we have to give an award actually to Jist a loon for Aberdein, who actually lives in the Philippines. But anyway, you're all winners, and that's what we're here about, to celebrate our passion for what we're doing, because you all work incredibly hard. We all do in our own little houses. We all produce what we produce, and we all do what we do from our heart. And this is just a wee celebration for us all, a wee get together so we can let our hair down. Now, Gordon, how are we going for time, Gordon?
Peter was going to give us a verse, so maybe you can just jump right in now, Peter.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a great fan of the Doric poetry. There's some fantastic poems written in the Doric, and we can we're short of time, Jill. So this is a poem. It's only one verse. The whole poem's just one verse, so that'll suit you fine for timing. And it's a poem written by Ian Middleton, and he wrote a lot of poems that he called his small bundles, and this is one of his small bundles. My mother had grief and was putting on beef. And the doctor says, nay, if sir buts, you'll stop it on fries and puddings and pies and ging on to the diet of nuts. Well, she thought she would try it, this monkey nut diet, but the remedies failed the disease. And now she's fair fizzing, 'cause her wake's getting risen. But boy, she can nae half climb trees.
Come on, Bundy Broch, a verse of the Doric song that you wrote, which went viral. Come on, Bundy for the Broch.
You bother at all? Well, I'll choose a verse that's kind of about when I was at school, because in the 90s, I can't remember if it was, but somebody said about they weren't allowed to speak Doric in school. Well, I used to have a teacher that wouldn't let me speak Doric, so she made it into my tune.
I was just a wee loon at the Broch Academy. There was a home ec teacher by the name of Misery. She tried self to change my tongue, she punished me each day. Detention for an eye off it, but the Doric didn't stay. For we spec the Doric, we will eat till we tea. We can fit, and we love our bossy. Look at John Wilkie, well he is off a click at. He's out for his blood a holy and he's getting his dross through kids. Hot and Aberdeenshire, we is seamen soaking wheats. He'll be hanging, lugging him on with feet they wally beats. For we spec the Doric, we will eat till we tea. We can fit, and we love our bossy.
Spot on, the Doric men, spot on. Now, Dennis, can you do a wee bit of diddling? Because most folk, and the younger generation don't know what diddling is. Can you do a bit of diddling, Dennis?
I was going to show my four of my things in 40 seconds. Is that okay?
On you go then, Dennis.
In 40 seconds, I can do four of my things. Moothy, singing, songwriting, and diddling from now. I got into the baker's yesterday just after 7. The baker said, I ken you weel, I ken fit you'll be having. No div you want a morning roll or a marang the day. No you arena wrong, you've got it recht, a morning roll is fit all hay. Dum diddle diddle dee diddle dum ba dee diddle do da dee diddle da dee dum diddly do diddly da dee dee diddly dum ba do diddle da dee oh diddle dum ba dee diddle da dee dee diddle dum ba dee diddle da dee. There you have it.
Okay, just to wind this up and to say, because I had hoped that a few others would do their turn, a wee turn, but we'll hopefully wait till the next time. Anyway, listen, folks. All we can say is keep doing fit you're doing, because you do it extremely well, because you're all admired, you know, and you were all very proud of, you know, who we are and what we're doing. And, you know, just keep doing it during a pandemic, you know, what else can we do but keep cheerful, keep hopeful, and just keep being Doric. Anybody else like to say anything just before it goes ping on us?
Oh, yeah, road signs.
Oh, road signs.
I was really annoyed in the 1970s when I was going up to Cantlay one day and I noticed that Aythin Wells had turned into the Wells of Aythin. That's what was good.
I was equally hacked off with when they changed Wild Goose Chase to someone else as well. I quite like that road sign. If you mind it when you get on the 947 throughout Aberdeen. All suggestions for road signs, please send them to Peter, okay?
Debbie Leslie, have you got a few words in Doric?
Oh, a wee poem, but I don't have time. I'll just do the last verse.
On you go.
This is the last verse of my poem. It says, so while there's bleed in your veins and breath in your lungs, come on and celebrate your ain weed tongue. Wifeys, Mannies, loons and quines, be proud of the Doric, yours and mine.